I know it's been way too long, yeah. I've been on the low, just counting up. Focused on the paper, not no feelings, show no love. Brand new
let's fucking go.
vibes, get me alive. Woo! Counted the money, okay.
We are episode 3. I'm having fun. Basically, at this point, venting session. No, I'm just kidding. We are here today to talk about a couple things. The name of the episode. Sounders dropped 3 points. Still the MLSs best. Why? Well, obviously, they just won the CONCACAF Champions League. First MLS team to ever do it. Let's give it up. Playing with kids like Obed Vargas. It's crazy. They are the best for a very good reason. In my opinion, they've been the best for a very long time. And I believe they will continue to have this long-standing tradition of success because of what they do from the youth level up. As long as I've been aware of the Sounders Academy, they've always been about winning. I went to the very first Sounders game. They won. Freddie Montero scored. I remember him celebrating. Iconic. Ozzy Alonso, my guy. Probably my favorite Sounder ever. Best number 6 in Sounders history. There's just no question about that. Dropping 3 points might seem like pretty They lost 1-0 to Colorado Rapids, but if you go back and look how many games they played over a 7-day time span, 3. You're able to get a maximum of 3 points per every game, and they come away with 6 points out of 9. 3 games over a 7-day time span. 6 out of 9. That's actually incredible. And that's why I'm really not worried about losing 1-0 to Colorado the way that we did. Really unfortunate. There are a couple things I'll touch on. But I am happy for the most part. I believe that there are a couple players who could use some adjusting with how they approach their recovery play and whatnot. But more or less, so like my shirt says, you sometimes may be good, sometimes I may be shit. And you kind of got a shit performance against Colorado. They're tired. I think for the most part, you probably got the most out of them that we could have asked. We should be happy with how they performed. I want my Sounders to do the best. I want them to continue winning trophies. I know we dropped out of the Open Cup, but that's okay. And then get 6 points out of 3 games out of a possible 9. That's really good. It's not something we can be mad at. I know we had a lot of people upset about Obed Vargas missing that call-up. Unfortunate. We really need him right now. There's no question about that. Picked up some slack and made up for a large gap in what the Sounders needed performance-wise from the midfield. And that's a big ask from such a young kid. In my opinion, he's playing one of the hardest positions in football. And he has just an incredible amount of potential. He gets me really just pumped up, stoked. Definitely the type of player I would have loved to have played with. He is decisive. He seems massive for his age. I don't know if I'm the only one. I don't know how tall he is. I'll have to look. But I am so happy he's a Sounder, and I'm so happy that it really sounds like he's going to be capped by the U.S. men's national team at some point. We'll see. And that's just one of many products that the Sounders are putting out. Products. They're people, I don't want to call them an object. So these kids are being turned out at pretty good rate, I'd say. So there's something there. The Sounders Academy has some pretty good things going on. Nothing we can be mad about there. Only great things to come in my eyes. With a new facility that's going to be built soon, I don't think we have anything to worry about. Dropping these 3 points, I despise the way Colorado went about getting those 3 points. Don't get me wrong. They wasted as much time as humanly possible. I hate that. In my eyes, there's never been any sporting integrity in wasting time the way they did, in fouling the way they did. It was malicious. They did everything they could to win that game. There was no identity to the way they played. More or less, they did everything they could to just piss us off, and they got away with a lot of shit. Let's be honest. The PK being one of them. MLS refs, in my eyes, pretty arrogant, and that was just one piece of evidence of that. Just disappointing. And you'll hear all these PC answers from Brian Smetzer. Oh, we should have played better. That wasn't the reason we lost. And that's true. You can't walk away from a game like that and blame the refs. You never can. But we can look at these subjective things that happen. Ruidíaz got pulled back by 2 arms. No foul. That's just one of many. And then obviously the PK that we come to find out was absolutely in the box. And at this point, the question is, why did the ref not call that a PK when it was a foul in the box? And then we look at, okay, well, he made the choice to not call it a PK initially and then to not call it a PK a second time. So what that tells me is that he doesn't want to change his mind. And what comes up a lot on Twitter and in a lot of these conversations is these referees in MLS and abroad are afraid of being wrong. And I think it's a weird authority thing. I don't think it's isolated to MLS referees. I don't think it's isolated to soccer in general. I think it's just an authority issue. And I believe they feel like they don't get the respect that they deserve. And then when they go and make decisions like this, I'm going to be honest, MLS refs, it's very hard to respect you. And you're not a bad person for this. From a player that's played for over 25 years, from just a fan perspective, we don't hate you as a human. It's not like that. But when you're doing a bad job, we're going to call you out. So anyways, enough of that. I believe that when a ref makes a decision that shifts momentum, as it did several times, and then it starts to aggravate players, it gets in the mind of you. And you can only take so much as a human. And I believe that was maybe part of the reason why they kind of couldn't come back from that. It was only a 1-0 loss. And it just seemed like they were miles off it for a lot of the time. We had some really bright moments. But I think overall as a coach, I wouldn't be completely satisfied with the performance for a couple of reasons. This wasn't supposed to be a long episode, so it's supposed to be pretty quick. I want to make sure that Sounders know I'm always going to love them, no big deal. But damn, are they still the MLS's best? Yes, not a question in my mind. I have utmost faith in the team. I love them so much. It's very hard for me to drive to Seattle and see them play in person, but I love watching them whenever I can. Always try to get my son and everybody, watching it with me. But that's about it. Sounders dropped 3 points. Definitely still the MLS's best. You can't dispute that. I know we have these MLS rankings. I know that they moved down in rankings after winning. There's no way they're going to move up after losing, right? And it was after the whole CONCACAF Champions League thing, it was really cool to hear Alexia Lawless, out of all people, compliment the Sounders. It was really weird. It seemed like he had a really hard time saying what he said. It was almost like Lexi looked like a kid being made to say something that he didn't really want to say, but in his own words. Obviously, he's his own man. Let's just assume he gets to say what he needs to say, but how he wants to say it. I believe that's probably the position a lot of these people are in. And, if I wasn't a Sounder, I wouldn't like the Sounders. I found myself to be very lucky to be a Sounders fan. I'm born and raised in the Pacific Northwest. As a Sounders fan, you can't be mad with the progress. Can't be upset. I am very excited for the rest of the season. Ruidíaz is a gangster. Don't worry about that dude fouling you. He's cheap. Competition makes some people do some really weird things at any event. That's it. Going on last week when we spoke about the U.S. men's national team winning a World Cup, we might be a long way from it, and I believe the Sounders are doing their part. We're not churning out maybe the best options available. We're doing our part. I believe the main problem there is how it's coached. I'm not going to cut the cheese in any other way. I'm not going to slice it any other way. We need a more clear understanding at the national team level about how they need to play, about their identity. They have none. Still don't have any answer why John Brooks is gone. And I'm just going to say it. Soccer, it's an arrogant sport. It's a shame sometimes. So, makes me a little sad. But that shit. Sounders are the best in the MLS. We're going to keep doing a fucking thing. We're going to keep being insufferable. Alexia Lawless, thank you for the compliment, even though I know you didn't want to say that shit. Thank you for doing your job. And we're out next week. I hope to talk a little bit more about their club down I-5, I have some stories, and I'm so happy, so fortunate to have a team so close to home, my home team, my true team be so successful for such a long time. May it never end. Anywho, that's it. Episode 3 done. What are your thoughts? Let me know. Are they still the MLS's best? Are we going to continue this success? This is Rojo Chats. Stay hungry, amigos. Have a good night.
Brand new vibes, get me a light. Woo! Counted the money, okay. Might buy a crib with a view in LA. Niggas keep plotting, they want me to break down. Nah, I'm trying to hang with your boy.